Hanis Rambod is one of the greatest bodybuilding gurus and trainers in the world. Some may even call him the best. Hani has helped his clients dominate various divisions of the sport, including the current reigning champion, Phil Heath. Recently, Hani signed one of the top 212 prospects in the world, Hadi Choopan from Iran, to a supplement company, Evogen Nutrition. Our Generation IN news team traveled to Pennsylvania on the weekend of the Pittsburgh Pro to sit down with Hani and talk about the bodybuilding physiques of the past, present, and the future.
First person I turned pro was in 2001.
Yeah, that was going to be my
yeah. So So 2000.
So,
yeah. Then I started my company in 2008. Evogen. I started in 2008. But 2001 was my first pro. So if you want to go through that road, then basically the way that the timeline works. And in 2001, I turned Quincy Taylor pro. The first time I worked with him, we did the USA. He won the super heavyweight as well as the overall. My philosophy has always been quality over quantity. I could, as I started growing my training business, it was never about the numbers, it was about the wins. Work with people that want to work with you. Don't try to go out and recruit. And I've never been a person to recruit anybody. So when I turned around and I ended up meeting Phil Heath in 2005, he had just won the USA already, done his program and training on his own. Then we fast forward a couple months later, he ends up coming to North American, and I had a client in the North American, and we were just sitting there at a restaurant talking. He had known about me through the industry. I'd known about him because he just won, and we just started talking. So how Phil and I ended up starting out was really kind of just talking, and then he was basically observing what I was doing at the show with my client at the time, which was Omar Deckard. And Omar ended up taking second to the Marcus Haley. And Marcus Haley had just won his pro card at that show. A couple months later, he said, "Hey, are you going to be at Nationals?" I said, "Yeah, I have 2 clients at the Nationals." He's like, "Well, let's hang out." All right, cool. So we were hanging out, and he was observing me basically do what I do, which was prepping 2 clients, which was Bill Wilmore, who ended up winning the overall, and then my second client won his class and got the second in the overall. So at that point, between watching what I was doing in North American then he turned around and said, "Hey, I'd be interested in doing something with you, getting ready for my pro debut next year." But at the time, I was writing for Muscular Development magazine. He was with Flex magazine, and there was a big rift going on. So therefore, we had to keep it all hush-hush because there was going to be a lot of outside pressure and influence, and we didn't want that to happen because there was a lot of expectation on Phil being good right out the gate. So what we did was we kept it all on the down low for the Denver Pro, his pro debut in 2006. What we did is we didn't let anybody know till literally the day of the show when they saw us together backstage that I was working with him the whole time. And he came out, looked amazing, was just kind of feeling like he was happy to be there. He's going to place in the top 3. And then as they started posing, him and Darren Charles were battling it out. I went backstage in the middle of prejudging and started screaming at him and saying, "Hey man, you could win this. Start acting like you could win this." Changed his mental set, came out, smashed it like a machine. He just like turned into a Terminator, literally. Because one thing I realized at that moment was Phil Heath is coachable. And now I look back at it and I go, he was coached during high school. He was coached during junior high. He was coached during college. He's coachable. A lot of clients previously that would work well with me were coachable athletes because they were coached in sports that, like football, basketball, whatever it was. Not usually basketball so much actually, because he was probably my first and only guy that was from the basketball, but they were either wrestlers or they were football. And those guys were the ones that were the best to be able to coach.